Hello, beautiful humans with feet. It is I, Christina, here at Fit and Bendy. And today we're going to talk about how to prep your lower body if you want to get started doing more walking or even running. So if you haven't been moving a lot and you're like, I want to move more, one of the best things to do to start is to get your feet and lower legs ready to do that, ready to accept your weight and move a little bit more efficiently. And it's going to save you a lot of problems in the long run if you do that work before you start walking or running. So that's what we're going to do today. You don't need any equipment, just your feet and your toes. Have a seat. We're going to start by playing with our feet. So go ahead, cross your left leg over, and just start rubbing your left foot a little bit. And the reason we're doing this is because most of the time we spend shoving our feet into shoes, which doesn't really do great stuff for them. It makes them weak because they don't have to work very hard all day. And it also just makes them a little bit less neurologically awake because they don't get a lot of sensation through them. So we want to make them feel awake. Wake them up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, because they have a lot to do if we're doing a bunch of walking or running. Then we want to say hello to our toes. So you want to take each one of your toes and wiggle it around. Move it around, twist it, squeeze it a little bit. And this is also really good for preventing the neuropathy of the feet and lower legs that is very common in people as they get older. So, doing this now might make it so that you have happier, healthier feet as you get older. And we're going to do this to each one of our feet, each one of our toes, really waking everything up down there. And then you're going to take your hand, take your pinky finger, and you're going to stick it in between your pinky toe and your second toe. And then you're going to continue to thread your fingers in between your toes. So you're making a little toe glove. And you're going to grab the ball of your foot with your hand and just scrunch it around like this. And this whole little routine I got from Kit Laughlin. Fantastic flexibility instructor. Highly recommend checking out his stuff, and I will link him from this video. So just squeeze that foot. If this feels super unpleasant and painful, you don't have to go all the way to the knuckle on the first try. You can just do the tips of the fingers, but I would really recommend doing it often. You want this to feel comfortable, easy, accessible, nice for your toes. You can kind of pull on your toes a little bit and wiggle them around, but really we're waking up the toes and the feet here. All right? Go ahead and extricate your hand, and we're going to do the same thing for the other foot. So cross the right foot over, and we're just going to start by giving it a little massage. And as I've been recovering from foot surgery, I've been doing this a lot for my feet, and I think it really has helped. Even just touching your feet on a regular basis. Some people never touch their feet. If you're one of those people, I recommend doing it. Play with your feet, play with your toes. They're incredibly beautiful, important pieces of bodily architecture. And so if we can take care of them and give them love and keep them feeling alive and jolly, it's going to really help our ability to be mobile. All right, go ahead and take those toes and squeeze them around and wring them out, move them around. See if you can feel space happening in between your toes. So if your toes are really scrunched together, you want to try and feel that there's spaciousness in between the toes. The toes are nice and long. You can move them around. And then maybe you won't get arthritis and need surgery like I did. All right, let's thread those fingers. So pinky finger in between the pinky toe and second toe, and so on and so forth, all the way up, and scrunch that hand in as deep as you can get it. They shouldn't feel agonizing. It should just feel like a deep stretch. And hopefully, eventually, if you do it enough, it should feel good and yummy. And I'm going to go gentle on this foot. It's still healing, but you want to feel that squeeze. You're making that nice, yummy glove on your foot and feeling those joints move around and getting movement through the toes and a little bit of compression there, a little twist, a little pull. Little flex and point, and you can feel those joints underneath your hands, the joints that connect your toe to your foot, and those are the ones that we're really wanting to wake up right now. All right, extract your hand, put that foot back on the floor, and now we're going to wake up our ankles a little, and we're going to start by doing that sitting. So if you're new to doing this stuff, you want to really feel it before we add our body weight to it. So we're going to start with our right foot. And you're just going to lift your heel up and then lift your toes up. And we're going back and forth between those two positions. And what you want to think of is that when your weight is in your heel, you're bringing it a little bit towards the pinky toe side of the foot. And when the weight is in the ball of the foot, you're bringing it a little bit towards the big toe. So I'm going on a little bit of a diagonal, out and in. And I don't have full mobility in this foot, so don't expect it to be a big movement. For you, the heel might come up higher when you bring that weight into the ball of the big foot. But what's really important is as you look down and the heel lifts, you don't want to be rolling out into those pinky toes. You're really trying to drive the weight down through the big toe. We want that big toe joint to be nice and strong, all right? So see if you can feel that strength through the big toe. And we're just going to go back and forth, and we can go a little faster here, and you just want to feel those muscles in the tops of the feet, in the front of the shins, and in the calves, all getting nice and awake and alert. And now we're going to do the same thing on the left side. So bring that weight up into the big toe joint of the left foot, and then down into the heel, flex the foot. And the nice thing about sitting is it's really easy to just look down and see what your feet are doing. So you can see, am I putting my weight into the big toe, or is it starting to scrunch out into the little toes, right? And when you flex the foot, are you able to get a nice lift of the ball of the foot, or does it feel really hard to get the ball of the foot up off the ground? If it does, that's a really important thing to work on that mobility, because we need that foot to flex nicely when we walk or run. It's a really important part of our gait when that foot is back behind us. So let's maybe go a little faster now, waking up those muscles, feeling them work. And this isn't the kind of thing where we want to go to like burn, going to muscle failure. That's not what we're doing right now. We're just waking them up and getting them ready for performing for us. All right, both feet flat on the floor. Now we're going to go out into the pinky toe and then in to the big toe. And I'm letting my knees move a little bit, but I'm really trying to get most of the work to happen here in the ankle joint. This is a really good thing to do if you have a history of rolling your ankles, of ankle sprains, because we want our body to be able to control this range of motion and feel comfortable in it, so that if we do step funny and the ankle kind of goes bloop, our body knows what to do with that and knows what muscles to use to control it, so we just don't keep going and then end up falling flat on the floor, right? And getting a big sprained ankle that nobody really enjoys. So let's go back and forth between those. See if you can feel those muscles in the sides of the ankle, sides of the calf. And then we're going to modify this movement slightly, where we're actually going to pick up the foot in between. So I'm going to tap down the knuckle of the big toe, and then I'm going to pick up the foot and tap down the knuckle of the pinky toe. And so now I'm really starting to wake up the muscles in the front of the shin, our tibialis muscles, tibialis anterior, just in case you're wondering what we're doing. And these muscles are really important for preventing stuff like shin splints. And again, they just increase that range of the ankle that we need when we're walking. And by tilting it side to side like this, I'm just really getting those muscles strong in a range of positions, so that I'm ready for walking on uneven surfaces, maybe stepping on the edge of a curb, whatever might happen to happen out there in the big wild world when I'm out walking or running around. Let's go one more, out and in, and then shake it out. So that felt like a nice little enlivening experience for my lower leg. We're going to work the knee a little bit, and I'm going to do this one leg at a time because it's a little bit challenging if you're new to it. So make sure that your heel is right underneath your knee here, and put your hands on your knee. You're going to stabilize that knee because we're going to try to keep this knee from moving. Flex that foot, and we're going to try to turn that foot as far out as possible. And you actually want this bone in the front of your shin to turn that direction. And then we're going to go the other direction, turn it in as far as possible. So yes, I am moving my ankle, but I'm really also trying to rotate from this knee joint. So my kneecap is not moving at all, but the bone below my kneecap is moving. And this is a range that our knee is capable of doing. Our knee rotates, and our knee is supposed to rotate. And it's part of how we manage walking and running is to have this rotation, but it's just not something that we usually work at a lot. If this feels painful, please stop, right? So if your knee is not used to doing this, if you have some knee issues, you might need to see someone and get some help with a knee before you try this. It might be that the range here is very, very small. Again, if you're new to this, that is pretty normal, but you want to build it over time as long as it's not painful. Let's do the same thing on the left side. So I'm making sure my heel's right underneath my knee. I'm stabilizing my knee, so no movement to the kneecap, flexing that left foot and rotating in and out. And I have a little less movement on the left side here. Not surprising. So whenever I'm doing this warm up for myself, I just spend a little extra time on the left because it needs it. And see if you can feel those muscles that make this rotation happen deep inside the knee joint, through the calf, down into the ankle. A lot of good work can happen here. And this should be starting to make your leg feel really alive and awake from the knee down. Let's do 2 more. And last one. And then put it down. Shake it out. All right. I think we're ready to try some standing stuff. Let's do it. We're going to stand with the feet hip width apart and soften the knees. And go ahead and just start with some little tiny squats. And these are different from like a standard squat in that we're trying to keep the body vertical and the heels down. So I'm only going as far down into the squat as I can go, keeping the heels on the floor and the body vertical. So it's not going to go down super far, but you should feel some work through your quads and your knees. If this hurts your knees, please don't go very far. You can make this smaller. It does put a little bit of stress in the knees, but we're hoping that it's good stress that's going to build the knee stability and make them feel a little bit stronger and healthier. But you got to do that incrementally. So if you're new to doing this, keep it small, please, please, please. As your legs are starting to feel a little bit more awake, we're going to stop at the bottom of this, feeling the weight shift more into the heels. We're going to start to tap the feet here. And yes, this is still putting weight through the quads. We can feel the knees working. And now we're also getting the shins to work. So the whole front of the leg is working here, from the hips to the knees, to the ankles, to the toes. And we're really warming that up. So this should maybe start to feel like a little bit of a burn, little bit of work here. The slower you sink, the harder it gets, right? So let's do this for 3, 2, 1, and then come on up and shake it out, shake it out. All right. Now, imagine that you're just taking a small step forward with your right foot. So the right foot's in front. Knees are bent, and we're going to start to rock our weight forward and back. For now, we're keeping both feet solid on the floor. If you look down at your feet, you'd really like them to both be pointing forward. So if you see one foot kind of turning out to the side, see if you can bring it back in. They're hip width apart, so it's not like you're walking on a balance beam. And part of what we're looking for here is just your ability to feel balanced on your feet. If it feels really wobbly, you can move them out a little wider, but that's something to look for. If you're having difficulty with balance, it's going to translate into walking and running as well. And then as we go and your body's getting more used to this transfer of weight, we're going to start to make it a little bigger, and we start to add the arms, because the movement of the arms and coordinating it with the lower body is an important part of what we're going to be doing when we're walking or running. So as I get a little bigger, I'm actually going to start to let the feet come up off the floor. So the heel comes up at the back foot, ball of the foot comes up off the front foot. And again, a lot of what I'm looking for here is balance and the coordination of the upper body and lower body. Do I look silly? I sure hope so. So as I twist towards the front foot and towards the back foot, I can feel how my body needs to move with my feet and my knees and my hips for that nice, easy gait. As we walk, we were always getting this diagonal movement with the head staying nice and stable on top, a little swivel. Let's do 3, 2, and on the last one, we're going to bring the weight back onto the back foot. One more balance challenge. We're going to pick up that front foot and swing it back and forth with the arms. And again, we're just trying to feel that balance with the standing leg. as we swing. And the bigger the swings go, the harder the balance is to keep. So you really want to see if you can feel nice and strong and stable on that standing leg while you do this. For 3, 2, 1. Oh, I got a little too carried away with that because I was feeling silly, and I love to feel silly. All right, left foot steps forward. Here we go. We're going to start small. So I'm trying to keep my feet solid on the floor. So there's a little bit of a mobility challenge here, right? When I'm going forward, I'm really testing the mobility of that back ankle to keep my heel down. I'm trying to keep the heel down as I come forward. Noticing my balance, noticing the alignment of the feet. Knees are soft and springy here, so you can feel that elastic tautness of the knees that really keeps us able to react to the ground as we move around. Toes should be pretty relaxed. Let's start to make it a little bigger here. So now I'm adding the arms and I'm letting the feet react to the floor. And what I'm looking for here is imagine that your feet are like a hobby horse, right? So there's a rocking here and I'm trying to roll through the feet. So I can feel the way that the feet respond to the floor, that they actually are mobile things. They're not just big chunks of meat, right? There's a way that they react to the floor. And I can feel the strength of the feet and their response to the floor. You should always warm up for walks barefoot whenever you can, and runs, especially runs. Let's do 3, 2, 1, and then bring that weight back onto the right foot, and we're going to start to swing that left foot. So you might notice it's easier to balance on one side than the other. My right foot's still a little sad from the surgery, but that's not so bad today. So I'm keeping that knee a little soft and just feeling the ease of movement through the rest of the body. How relaxed can you get the rest of the body with that right leg holding you up? Take a breath. Make sure your head and neck are relaxed on the top of your body, just hanging out, balanced up here for 3, 2, 1, and bring it back and shake it out. All right, hopefully you're feeling really ready to go. This is our last thing before you hit the road. Feet are right underneath your hips, and we're going to start to pedal the toes. And my knees here are bent. And this is really, I'm trying to feel a sort of lightness, a springiness here, right? Where my heels, my toes, my ankles, my knees, my hips are all reacting to the floor and creating a little bit of a weightless bounce, right? So I'm using my muscles and my connective tissue to create a responsiveness. And this is what is going to help to keep us safe as we go out there into the world and we interact with all sorts of surfaces, and maybe we get a little impact going on as our lower body's ability to just communicate with the floor and keep itself safe and keep itself coordinated without us even having to really think about it that much. So we're going to start to get a little faster here and get a little taller and get really silly. This is going to look silly. I really like looking silly, so just look silly with me. It's going to be fun, I promise. I really hope you're in public right now and people are looking at you and saying, what is that person doing? And you can just go like, yeah, here, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. And let's start to pick it up. We're going to march it out now. And here's what I want you to think about. Every time that foot comes up, I'm trying to point it at the floor. So I'm pushing through that foot. It's like I'm pressing the foot up off the floor. Now, eventually, we can turn this into actual jumps where we're jumping, we're pressing into the floor through your foot. We don't need to do that today. That's going to be a little bit down the road. This is just a little way of starting to feel how your feet have a whole life of their own that they can lead, right? And they can help to keep everything above them happy and healthy if they are happy and healthy. They have such an important job to do. So if we take care of them, they will take care of us, and you won't have so many issues with knees, with hips, with back, with neck. All of that is sitting on top of your feet. So you can see why doing stuff for your feet is really important. So hopefully you're really feeling some work here, work in the calves and the feet and the toes, maybe a little in the hips. Maybe you're getting a little bit out of breath. That's good. We're warming up. And we're getting ready to go and hit those mean streets. Ready for 3, 2, 1. All right, everybody, let's go out and hit those streets. Let's get it going. Walking and running is such a wonderful way of getting out and interacting with the world and being healthy. And it's just really important to prepare for it. So if you like this workout, if it feels good to you, please like it. Please come back to it. Please do this as part of your warm-up before you get out there. It's going to help your walks and runs go so much better if you prepare for them. I have a lot of information on this channel on feet and knees as a response from my own foot surgery and my journey towards becoming a runner. So I'm very excited about it, sharing my journey and all the things that I'm learning with you. So subscribe if you want more information on that. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. And always happy bendings. Woohoo!